A bit mad on the eyes.
I thought the eye.
Oh,
Carol was saying you have to press OK.
Oh, right. Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
Because I paused it and I ain't going to go down that route again.
Right.
No, it was like some of the portraits that we do, and you look at them, you think, well, that don't look anything like Audrey Hepburn or Omar Sharif or Elvis or whatever. But
I got a bit carried away with her eyes.
no, I'm using. I'm talking,
yeah, I know, but I'm just saying I did.
And the thing is, but even though it might not look a dead ringer or whatever of the subject, but the quality of the execution of the picture, if you take that away, if you didn't say that was Audrey Hepburn and said it was just so-and-so, a portrait study of so, the quality of it is bloody good. It's amazing. Pauline's was spot on.
Yeah, you were good. You're getting really good, Pauline.
Well, funny enough, I didn't think I'd captured her properly, but
You never will.
well, no, that's right. Yeah.
I've washed mine out twice. I did it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I did it on the Tuesday. Forgot to record it. Wasn't that keen on it anyway, so I put it in the shower and started. And then I did another one for recording, and then I looked at that and thought, you know, I'm going to go back to basics here and rewind. So I'll show you later. But I've started that one all over again. And I said to Carol yesterday, I'm determined to work out
how to do it easy, easier.
Yeah, a routine that a workflow, isn't it? Really, I suppose a dirty that gets you to that level. And now same like with the landscapes now, isn't it? You sort of do the sky, do the sea, block it all in, and then the last hour or last half hour, you put in all the information and all the details in. It's got to be
I'm sure the portraits would be easier to do in oil though, because you can move it around. Once you put this paint on, some of it sticks on and you can't get it off, can you?
But that's the idea. That's the idea of introducing the white, because it does. You know, you make the brush damp and then you can move it around even days later. But taking what you just said, I've just ordered.
Yeah, I saw you
on eBay. Yeah.
So what we got to get now then?
No, I don't go there. But they were watercolor. Well, you know, if it works, I'll certainly
pass it on. See how you get
on.
on.
Yeah, I'll do a video based on it. But
it must be easier than watercolor, mustn't it? Watercolor's the hardest, isn't it? Really?
I don't know.
You don't know? Oh.
I don't know. I'll have a go and see what happens. When I bought that watercolor water oil soluble white, didn't I, to see if that worked, and I practiced with that, which it works okay, but then it takes 3 weeks to dry. But I don't know, you get these notions in your head, and I went on eBay and typed in blah 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 auction, and there was a box of 21 water soluble oils, and they're all 400 ml or 40 ml, whatever it is, tubes. So I thought, they wanted, I think it had a buy it now of 30 quid. So I thought, well, I ain't paying that. It said make an offer, so I put 25. And came back and said, yeah, that's fine. I thought, oh
wow.
And it still ended up being 30 quid, which is what with the delivery.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So yes, I'll report back on that one.
Yes, please.
Well, have you done your portrait, Joyce?
No, I'm trying to finish the barge at the moment.
Oh, I never did that one. I couldn't. I lost interest in that one.
I didn't do that one because I missed that week somehow, and fine. So then I just missed it altogether. But I've still got a copy of the picture that I will try and do at some stage. But
it's no pressure, is it?
No.
It's one of those things. I mean, Chrissy and Anne and Gordon, they're on on sabbatical at the moment, or they're at a campsite near you. So whatever, you know.
Wonder how they got on at the weekend, because it was really windy, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Was it? I can't remember that far.
Friday, was it? Friday.
Oh, it was only a little breeze. It was about 50, 55 mile an hour.
No fences down then?
Nah, we got to get, even my plastic greenhouse didn't blow away.
Oh.
I'm anticipating that.
Oh dear.
Even though I've got it tied. Nah, you need at least 75, 80 to really get these hardy campers upset, like Chrissy and Gordon.
Did you hear? Yeah, did you hear yesterday the Isle of Wight? They were flooded out. They had all this rain, and I thought we never had any, did we?
No, we didn't.
I thought that's bizarre, isn't it? It's only across the water.
Yeah,
it's weird.
It shows you.
The Isle of Wight saved us. I've been saying that for years. When I used to sit out by the Avon Beach, and you can see the strip of the horizon, Isle of Wight, and then you can see the storms coming along. They sort of hit the island and dissipate away.
Yeah, because when we live in Hamworthy, you can see that there's, because they say the Purbex, it sort of protects us, and it's behind us all the bad weather, isn't it?
It blows it up and dumps it on Ventnor and Ferndown. Yeah, I'm always saying that.
Yeah, it does.
Oh dear. What do you reckon today then? I think today is going to be...
It's going to be really easy.
Well, that'll make a nice change.
And next week as well is...
What have you got for next week?
No, I think this is like our summer holiday. We've got...
Good.
This one is... I hate this word, saying that it's easy. So it's going to go pear-shaped. And next week I've got a picture of Mauritius.
All right.
Oh.
I'll show you quickly. That sneak preview. Oh, so it's
More
on
Caribbean Sea.
Yeah,
it's
I don't know that I like those.
No, I'm not very good at those.
Oh, me neither.
Hang on. Mauritius Herbie, which is the one I put on that one. I'll zoom in a little bit. This is my son and his daughter. His wife even close. No, it wasn't even close.
Can't see anything at the moment.
I know, I haven't done it yet.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, a sign.
Oh,
That's them two in Mauritius.
all right.
Right.
Lovely.
That looks a bit tricky.
Yeah, we're going to do those figures that close. Oh.
Well, that's a sneak preview. So, but
we can always leave them out.
We can push them back to those other buildings and just make a block.
Yeah, make them smaller. I've got that one in the pipeline. And then after that, so we've got today, which is a bit of fun. Then next week could be interesting. And after that, we're back on the treadmill.
Oh God.
Omar Sharif.
Oh God.
I thought
I'm moving that week.
Have you got a date yet, Carol?
Well, we're getting nearer there. I'm starting to pack up. I think this is why I can't. The painting's all gone haywire at the moment. I've got so much on. I get tired with Peter, looking after Peter. So it's a bit hard going at times. But anyway. Sorry.
No, carry on.
No, I'm just saying when I move, I shall have a bit more help, so it might I can get out a bit more. You know,
take the pressure off you a bit.
Yeah. I think that hot weather, it just made me so tired. I was absolutely worn out.
Yeah, it was tiring.
It was so hot in here. It was horrible. But I think it was hot everywhere, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I just can't remember these things. As it is at the moment. 18 to 20 degrees, I'm fine. Overcast, I'm happy.
Yeah.
I don't particularly I'm not a sun worshipper. What I do like in the morning, or sort of, I'll go out into the conservatory where it's been, you know, the sun rises up over it, and it's like, oh, it's great. It's cotton wool. It's like being bathed in cotton wool. I'm always saying that. Same with the car. Get in the car and everybody goes, God, it's blooming hot in here. And I just sit there. No, don't open the windows. I love it. It's like all snuggly. Just for then as you drive off, put the aircon on or whatever. This is, I think Alan Gordon gave me that.
Right.
If you, yeah, pretty sure it's a sort of camper van thing. I haven't really given much thought to the background. Matter of fact, I don't think I was going to even entertain it until I. Carol, you'll be chuffed.
What's that?
Well, I was thinking it was about an hour ago, and I was thinking, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll just put a little spot of masking fluid on these bits. Just put a bit on these bits, just so that I can then put the wash of whatever on. And I took the needle thing. Oh God, it was all over my hands, everywhere. So anyway,
that teacher.
Yeah.
I was thinking of having a go with pastels in this because I did some oranges a long time ago, and they came out really well in the pastels. So I thought all the eggs would be nice.
Do both.
To do. So I
Do
don't know.
both.
I'll see.
Try it with both.
See how the mood takes me.
What I have been doing, I think I've mentioned it loads of times. There's I haven't got any masking fluid on it, but what I've been doing is adding where the highlights are. I've just put a little touch of white, just and it's reversing what we've been doing with the portraits. And so what I'm doing, or what I thought I'd try, I've already put. I've painted the eggs white and the camper van. Round here, I've painted white and the eggs. I don't know why. I've just got I was going to say, a feeling in me water that a little bit of white might
help.
Well, I'd like to say it's an age thing, but it's not. It's technical because I'm always thinking certain elements of the picture I need to be reminded what they are, and shadows are a key area, aren't they? So if you mix up a bit of shadow color, which is goodness knows, that was a mistake. It was raw sienna, but a bit of red and a little bit of blue should give us a shadowy tone, won't it?
I always get mine purpley. Or is it
Yeah. If it goes too purple, just add a little tinge of burnt sienna.
Right.
So there's no right and wrong anyway. But even now, going back to what I was saying, I like to put it's a roadmap, really, isn't it? And I don't early on. You can always come back and add. Sounded very Wurzel then. You can always come back, but you can, I haven't been talking to my mother or anything. I don't know where that came from. Oh, but even so, like at an early stage, there's no harm in just adding. I'd say it's like a reminder. It's a bit. I do it with buildings. I'm painting buildings. I'll paint the windows a very light blue, especially the beach huts. They're full of windows, aren't they? I'll paint them early on because once you start, I'm putting a little bit of shadow in there as well. Because I was going to say it'll dry back, but this is that I showed you, didn't I, that board paper that I was using, that I bought. It's card. It's just, it's about, what's that? 2 millimeters, 2 millimeters, yeah, them things, 2 millimeters thick. It's just sort of cartridge card stuff. So I've been stretching that like I would a watercolor paper, and sticking a little bit of primer, which is that, they call it watercolor ground. Which I can't, hang on, I've got that shadowy colour on, I'm just going to block it in a bit. Just to remind me that, if you like, which way the light's coming from. So we've got the lights coming from, actually, I took the photos. It's not, oh, I should know where the light was coming from. It was, well, I think it's predominantly from the left-hand side, the light side, so just add a few bits in. It's all right. Even the egg's got it, hasn't it? But I've very lightly, the egg's got, I painted it white. I just gave it a wash of white earlier. A lot of this, you know, girls, ladies, is it's down to the printer, because I print these images off, and sometimes they look totally different.
Yeah.
If your ink's running out or something's going on, there's a little. But so the shadow colour I'm using, in your case, I've used rose madder, or it's just a rose. I never think of it as, I don't know which one it is. When I order it, I just look at the rose and that's it. Sometimes it's madder. Sometimes some people call it other things. But if you add blue to it, so if it was alizarin crimson, it will do the same thing. And then add a little bit of burnt sienna, it will change it. That went a bit too far. It was a bit of a, it's the way when you're trying to do something to show somebody, it goes the wrong way, but you can add some blue back in and it'll go grayer. So you'll get that shadow tone. So you can bring it back, take it away, bring it, you know, from the purple to the bluey side of purple shadow, you know, adding those three colours are the ones to play with anyway. Sort of alizarin crimson, burnt sienna and blue. Depending on the blue, of course, it give you a different type of shadow. And then it's a question of deciding how much liquid you want in it, how much water. I've got two images, and even the coffee's looking more like a dollop of shadow. Just block in, isn't it? That's all you can do. I'm all excited. I've got a new chair. I was quite impressed actually. I picked it up and just I handled the parcel and I thought, oh, gosh, am I going to lift this up? I'm going to end up with a hernia. And it was only 20 kilos and I just picked it up. I thought, blimey, Dave, what are you eating? as I say, at the moment, I'm just playing with colour, just looking at the reference image, which is somewhere up here, and thinking pretty much like we do with those portraits, really, just looking for areas that are going to make a statement at some point. But it's a confidence thing now, because I'm so confident that we've got white. It's spoiled the way I paint watercolours in a way, because now I'm just thinking if it goes to one way or the other, I'll just add some white on it, just attack it. I don't. The background is the microwave, so there's no hard and fast rule. But I have put a line across the back. You need a horizontal line at some point. Let's get a wiggle on. What I'm going to do then, Carol, give me a background colour.
You want it dark, don't you?
You need to
Nice
go.
dark blue. Sort of
Right.
a navy blue.
Have we got a compromise? Let's find a. I've got a nice big brush. So I'm going to try and go around my subject. I just think we need you. There's no point in it. Makes such a difference, doesn't it, on the overall feel of the picture. All right, this paper's got to put a dollop of just about there, am I? So make that damp. It's just clean water on here, obviously. So I'm painting like the emperor's clothes. Can you not see it? Can you not, can you not see that lovely blue colour that's coming? I'm going to start off with some burnt sienna. I'll turn it upside down so that if it does, I want it to flow one way or another. So old habits is grow hard, die hard even. I need more of this paper. Is where I am. I use the watercolour ground, which is like a primer effectively for painting watercolours. It dries almost like a eggshell sort of finish. Right, I haven't finished. Don't panic. I'm going to add some blue onto that and see what happens. It'll give me a nice. Just loading my brush up with some blue paint. Give me a nice. Still more. This is cerulean blue with a dollop of. You'll get, if you use watercolour paper, you'll get a better wash, because I don't think this paper is one of the things I've noticed, that because the way I'm doing it, the paper surface, it don't get quite the same nice washes that you do with watercolour paper, because watercolour paper, it's sort of, you get those lovely graduated tone washes. Because if I did that in a watercolour paper, the little divots would dry out. They'd just dry away. But not on this stuff. But I'm not fussed. You have to sort of try these things out. Well, I think as you're always trying to, where I am, find the hidden secret that no one else has discovered. Whether it's the paper, the paint, how you do it. That'll dry back. I just wanted to put something there, just so we've got something to latch on to. These brushes I'm still using. Did you get some of these, Carol? Did anyone get these?
No, I didn't get them.
They were evergreen,
No.
rosemary evergreen. I've been using these for a while. They're not really watercolor brushes. They're what's it called? Oil brushes. That's not the reason I bought the oils, but it was just that I've got a pinky colour here. I think that looks nice. More of a beige, isn't it? A flesh, which is yellow with some red. Gives us that pinky, fleshy colour. Oh God, I thought I was getting away from portraits. They're back. But I'm not fussed. I don't care what the colour of the cup is. Should you? You should be thinking, I want it to be, I want to play with colour, don't we? Should I use a big brush? That's what I'm wondering. It's such a tiny one. Just show off. No, never. Use the mop just for a bit of fun. Well, I'm just thinking, maybe this was a mistake. For if it's watercolor paper, you'll get a nice flow, won't you, of the brush I've got in there. On a minute ago, I don't know where I put. Oh, it's still in the pot, isn't it? Indecision causes bad pictures. Be brave. Go with it. Definitely an interesting experience painting on this paper. But yours will be different. But I think the emphasis is on, I think this exercise is a brilliant one for, I'm doing it deliberately myself. Painting, using the, learning to use the brush, apart from that bit where I went into the egg. No, but if you can practice that, just a sweep. Now it looks like it's not going to dry very well. So, but I'm not giving up because something always flipping goes wrong or not how I want it. My colours are a bit muted. Chrissy will be watching this later, going, ooh, get that acrylic on there. But at this stage, we're only blocking in anyway. We're just having a bit of fun. One thing I found with the oil brush is a bit of blend of white in it, just to tone it back. See if I can get the paint to flow. But also, see, the reason I mentioned brush strokes is important because we want the cup to curve. So using our brush in a curvy way, follow the lines of the mug. Adding that white smooths it out. You see what I'm getting at? Which is why I wasn't too fussed that it was looking a bit dodgy. That looks like I recognise that cup. It's a bit darker than it was when I first had it. Now the insides are much lighter tone, so I'm just using more like dirty water, isn't it? Try and leave a lip at the top. I haven't drawn the lip after I drew the outside of the cup, thinking, oh, no, we'll just go for it. Not very frothy coffee though. Can't see it in these glasses anyway, so it doesn't make a difference. But this is where, if you like, for the watercolour journey, today's exercise is really about creating soft washes, yeah, to give it that feel. And the other thing to bear in mind and remember is to, when I'm going to sit down a sec because I need to get closer. What I was going to say, yeah. Never mind, it'll come back in a minute. No, it was just simply that when you're painting a particular area and you've done a bit, just go away. Go to another section or another area of the picture. Let that area sort itself out. Just looking at this big cup. What I've done in my mind is to say the little name tag at the bottom that says love. You could put your name in it. I was going to put Dave or DH or some daftness.
That's right if you got a short name.
Yeah, that's why I was, as the words left my mouth, I thought, well, Pauline ain't going to be happy. And for a fleeting moment in my head, I thought, how can you abbreviate Pauline? Don't work. First thing I thought, well, she ain't going to have Pat, that's for sure. I'm being a big hole in myself here. This painting, this subject has got to be a treat for Joyce.
Oh, has it? Okay.
I just thinking once it's had the Joyce treatment on it, it'll
good, won't it?
it'll sort of I don't know. Just think trees.
No, I try not to think trees.
No, that's what it's a sort of what do you call it? Reverse psychology. Tell Joyce that it's got trees in it, she'll have a real go at it, and it'll turn into something
totally different.
Amazing, yeah. It'll have sparkle on it and everything.
Oh, don't talk to me about sparkle. I got some sparkle recently. I was trying out some greetings cards, and I thought, oh, I'll do some sparkle. And I bought these little pots of sparkle, and my painting buddy from the Wednesday group said, oh, I can drill some holes in the top for you, which was fine. Stuck little bits of sellotape over the top, but unfortunately the sellotape didn't stick. So I ended up with sparkle everywhere. Not on the cards, just everywhere else. So I won't be doing sparkle for a while.
Oh dear. Yeah. Rush show no more. That's just looking at. I think this is one of those pictures that we can honestly sit back and say, I don't care. I'm putting blue in the coffee. But it doesn't, but it's one of those things where it actually doesn't look too bad now. The colours are not that important. It's more about looking for different shades. That's what I would say today. Today's is looking for shadows.
Dave, are you planning to put the bubbles in the coffee?
Yeah. It crossed my mind with using some just using the what's that brush called?
And
Yeah, a fan brush and dab some bits on it.
Mm.
That was all. That's all I was thinking. That's what crossed my mind when I was looking at it. Or I wasn't really when I was thinking about it. Other than that, I haven't forgotten them. But then again, if they didn't turn up, nothing nicer than a nice flat cup of coffee.
it's not going to be a cappuccino then.
I don't drink coffee, so it's sort of wasted on me. I think I'll add a bit of. There's a shadow comes over here, so. But like I was saying earlier, if once you've got that shadow mix, you can change it. At the moment, if you add a bit of blue in it, you get a lighter grey. And have some fun with it. I think that's it. There's my my thoughts and on this sort of reference image is just concentrate on finding some shadow tones. I'm really struggling on this paper. I thought it might be a mistake. Try and find some way of making it look slightly three-dimensional. Just so that's all you have to do this week. And obviously I've put a bit too much on here, but I'm not fussed. I don't know why, it must be my glasses. No, I just thought it was quite dark at the. I'm using a number 8, or is it a number 6? Go away. Oh, dear. Is it a number 8 or is it a 6? When I read the label, it says 5. Does that sums up? Sums it all up. I think, yeah, this is one of those things that it doesn't, once you block it in, the sparkle comes a little bit later. I think I'm going to add some more information to the top. Turn it back upside down. But it's fun with colour, so you can just play with colours that you've got in your palette. Ish. can see the coating on this paper. It's sort of sitting on top. Very weird. Not used to this. But if it gives me a good effect, I'm going to stick with it. And just an inch flat brush surface. See what happens. I'm not going to get the salt out. But I think when you have a go, you'll suddenly get the meaning behind it is to practice brushwork, getting your brush. If I do that, it will look like steam coming off the coffee. I don't think I'm going to get away with that. But it's drying in a funny way on this paper, but that's okay. Can we use that to our advantage? Possibly. Didn't want to go there, did we? What was I saying about brush technique? But I'm not. If all goes wrong, or you're not over impressed, you can always outline the subject with black pen. Just leave it. Walk away. Come back to that cup with a nice drop of the white I'm using in here is a bit liquid. I seem to like it better if it's a little bit thicker. No, I'll persevere. See what happens. Try with a different brush. Well, just playing with paint, really. Even I've gone quiet now. Concentrating. Just go down one edge. And if you're ambidextrous, like I think I am, sometimes, a bit of water. This paper is so, no, I'm not going to whinge about it. I'm just saying it's quite absorbent. As I'm doing it, I can feel the tension, you know, the brush sort of doesn't flow. Loving it. But don't forget about consequences. Because I put white over here, the handles. I'll show you something. Well, something I was looking at the picture we did of, or I did of Whittington Castle earlier this morning. And how long ago? That was a couple of weeks ago now, wasn't it? And I only noticed this morning that some of the trees in the background should have gone further over into the castle. I'll show you in a minute. And it's only 2-3 weeks later, you look at a picture, you think, crikey, that ain't right. Them trees have got to be, you know, they've got to go. Well, I think they have anyway. Maybe it was early. I might not have been quite awake. Must admit, introducing white into this watercolor painting does make you feel like you're it does simulate painting in oils a little bit. I don't mind. And one of the things I was going to mention right at the start, and I forgot, was must have heard me say it loads of times, is when I paint beach huts, I've always added white to the colour. Always added white to the beach huts because they're man-made. They're painted with Dulux. So I've always had that in my mind's eye when I paint these solid man-made objects, that they should be, by adding a little bit of permanent gouache, or which is what I tend to use, it gives them that solidity that they wouldn't normally get with watercolour. Watercolour makes them namby-pamby. Quite a technical term that you use in watercolour painting. Does it mean anything? Namby-pamby? Oh, I suppose it does. I think it's rude. You shouldn't say that nowadays. It relates to people, doesn't it? Never mind. I didn't mean any harm. Sorry, anyone listening. I'm just tidying up the edge where it went over a bit pink there. But if you can, what I've been saying over the last few weeks on the portraits in particular, if you can stop and think about how you're handling the brush, it'll improve things even more. And stop painting with the hand, with the fingers, and paint more with the arm. You'll get, it'll improve things. You'll get much more relaxed about paint, applying paint to different areas. There's a good example there. Look. I did the background and forgot to put the background in that bit. So what are we going to do about that, girls? Oh my gosh. It's all right. Cock up, isn't it? Now, one of the things, and this is one of those occasions when it isn't going to get away with it. One of the things, I might do. I'm always saying I stretch my paper and I use the edge, damp my brush off or mix colours up. The reason for one of the pluses of that is if you do get an area like that, you've got that colour in the background on the edge of the paper. So sometimes it can be a rescue remedy just to, sort of, it doesn't matter anyway because I'm going to put more on the back, doing more on the background later anyway. The foreground colour, I think I'm going to have a go with the mop, make it wet. Hopefully it won't. It's got a bit pink in it. The water's pink. You never guess that by looking at the cleanliness of it all. Really enjoyed today. It has been less pressure in a funny way. There's a bit of blue on the edge of that paper that's just come in. So I'm going to go. Raw Sienna's what I'm going to play with here. I think I'm getting the hang of it. But I know I've got those shadows in, so just to remind me. And the raw sienna, where have I got raw sienna? I haven't got it in this pack, in that palette. Oh, someone's just come in to pick a parcel up. You can pick it up. Shouldn't be too bad. It was only a few kilos. Failing that, I shall run downstairs. Raw sienna the foreground. I'm just dabbing it in. Quite nice. Nice pastel-y feel to this colour, actually. Using my right hand again. I'm getting like one of those snooker players. They do that, don't they? Everybody goes, "God blimey, look at that." Yeah. Any minute now, the doorbell's going to go bing bong. The raw sienna should work quite nice on the little bit of shadow that we put on earlier. Yeah, I put I don't know what it is, one of those grill machines on Facebook to sell for, that James and Mel didn't want. They keep doing it. They have a kitchen sort of clear out, and I end up to sort of say, "Oh, I'll take it down the tip," and I said, "No, I ain't doing that. Put it on Freebay or something." No, I won't do Freebay, but put it on Facebook Marketplace, and you'd be surprised what people buy and recycle and do stuff with. And I thought, oh, this is a scam. This does not sound right. It's all right. He's picked the parcel up. It was somebody from up north messaged me on with saying, "Is it still available?" And I'm thinking, oh my God, what's going on here? He's going to ask for me PIN number in a minute. But he didn't. I gave him my bank account details and he transferred 30 quid or whatever it was. No, 38 because it worked out tenner for delivery. And that's it, just come and picked it up. I'm quite pleased with that. I don't want to preempt what I've said in the past, but this brush is moating. Is it the rosemary? Yeah, I think it is the rosemary. That's fascinating. Yeah, it's dropping hairs off. Flipping nuisance. Whoops. Oh, that's all right. Might add some blue in it, actually. I've got this little bit of cerulean blue on the side because it's a cosmic colour. No, there's another flipping hair come out. This is not good. Not good. Not buying any more brushes, that's for sure. I'm brushed out at the moment. I might add some more brighter yellow. I'll just at the bottom balance, isn't it? I'm at about 30 degrees angle, something like that. So I've just add a bit of yellow to brighten it up. The raw siennas wasn't strong enough. Gonna have to look at it a bit more objectively and say where they're trying to add more shadow areas while it's going like this. That's okay. But it is fun today, Dave. Yeah, we're just thinking. I haven't done any really big size up to now. I can sense one or two coming there. Oh, I've run out of cerulean blue nearly. I've been using the blue that Christine gave me. She gave me ages ago, a load of bit of shadow colour here. Just drop it in while it's wet. Let it do something. Especially there. And then let the water tease it down. It's got to be a dark area somewhere around here as well. If you drizzle some paint, oh, not there. Okay, forget it. If you drizzle a bit of paint underneath, then take it off. Add some clean water, which I am, and just drop it on the bottom and let the paint drizzle down. Extend and then walk away and go somewhere else. Let it do its biz. Just go over that way a bit. While it's wet, you can tease it anyway. I'm just thinking outside the box, really, where it would. I'm using my intuition, sort of gut feeling. Where would it want to be shadowy? I'm using cerulean blue as a complementary colour to add to the shadows. But all this is relevant to doing portraits because it's the same sort of procedure, really. While it's damp, add it in. Yeah, that's okay. That's going to dry back. What I will do while I'm thinking about it, and I've got this St. one or two paints in St. Petersburg thing. There's so many of them, I never put them use hardly until I get to here, and you need a bright colour, so I'm just going to dab it in and run. Let's tidy it up later. And it wants a little pinkier version, doesn't it? Oh, any problem with the rose madder as a colour? It is so highly staining. Wherever you put it, and then you think, oh, I'm not happy, and you go and try and wash it out, it won't move. When some of those portraits I've been doing, and when I put them in the bath to wash it out, the only colour that stays, you get rid of most of them, they'll disappear. But the Algerian crimson, or in my case, the rose madder, leaves a taint, leaves a tone. Right, it goes right into the paper. No messing. Well done, Dave. Getting there. Yeah, I quite like it. Change. I think that cup handle could do with a little bit of a tidy up. Bigger brush. Drying off. Now let me find my dowder and brush. Initially, I'm going to stick some lines on this, but it's not thick enough. The paint's not as. So what I might do is, in my palette, I've got loads of, not the St. Petersburg one, the one that I've been using this palette over and over and over, haven't I? It started off as just the one I was going to use for my keep it for portrait colours, but seems to be going on apace. The one I'm using all the time. The only secret drawback with it is if you tilt it up, it all dribbles out the the little things. Oh, look, sprays as well. Look. I thought what I might do, because this is all damp, is mix up a bit of that, add a bit of burnt sienna to that and just tease up a few lines. Should work quite nice. Just take any excess off on the edge. Give it a little bit of texture, really. You can see where I put that little bit of cerulean blue underneath on the the dark part of the shadowy bit. Seemed to work quite well. So taking that a step further, using the fan brush, I add a bit more. Oh, that's not so good, because there's ultramarine in that hidden secretly in the background with my palette. I didn't really want that. I wanted to stick with the, and I'm also going to feather in some of the cerulean blue into that bit as well. Give it a little bit of interest. You can use any colour you like. Have fun. And put that in that right at the start, putting that little, painting the eggs white, give it, just coating it with white, gives you a bit of extra confidence. You can, because if like you do go over into the egg like there, say, well, because there's an undercolour of, just put a bit of blue on that edge, of white underneath that, as it dries off, we can simply dilute it away. It'll just disappear. When this is, if you've got I don't think I've got, I've got one. Here's a dry fan brush. So if you dry it off and it's nice and dry, and even then you can, while it's still damp, just push it around. Look for, might be a good idea to put a nice dollop of wood, grainy bits up there. I like that. It's not what I was saying about the, if I find start on a brush, tissue is what I want. Where, because there's white in amongst the picture early on in the egg and that, I'm pretty sure all I've got to do is that. Just a couple of brush strokes. So I lift it off into my tissue, and I can go all over that egg, anywhere on that egg, with just clean water on my brush, and lift off any bits I'm not content with. Same with this egg. Okay, it's a little bit, what's the word? It's not smooth, the finish. Now it's, I'll try with this brush. It's a bit stiff, but go for this. Get a softer one. The Terry Harrison flat brushes are excellent for most of this stuff, because they're I don't know, they're just the right amount of flex and give in them. You can just go over it just with a damp brush and smooth it out, just like we're doing on the portraits, because you've got that little bit of white underneath. There you go. It's a lot better than it was. And as it, I'm pretty sure when it dries, I've just taken the bit of the background off the egg as well. So it's quite a useful thing to do early on. There we go. Tidied that bit up at the egg, and it's a little bit up there, but okay, it's a bit damp at the moment. We do it. Oh, bloody salesman here. You can equally do it on the cup using a big brush, big flat brush. Actually, I've got a huge. Have you got one of these, Joyce? Terry's really big.
No, I don't.
Golden leaf, it's called.
Right.
I'm using this to do quite a lot of the backgrounds, you know, for putting loads of water on, but just for fun. I can probably use that to add a little bit of smoothness to that cut. Don't know why, I seem to be this area there. It's quite stiff, this brush, so it'll push it right in. It's really wet, this paper. Painting this way tends to favour. There you go. Much smoother than it was. Just go back very lightly towards the middle and it will tease the cup off. You couldn't do that if you didn't have the white in there. You wouldn't be able to do that. We could have a go, but it wouldn't come out as neat and smooth. If I don't touch that now and it just dries off. Always amazes me sometimes with artists and painters. You get sometimes you get, or more often, quite often, you get a really, like Alan Hayden. He's a big bloke. You know, everything he does is like big in life, but he paints delicate watercolours. So in among, you know, he's always fascinates me that even though he's sort of big and tough and strong, give him a rigger and a bit of watercolour paper, and he'll paint you a nice, soft, delicate watercolour paper painting. Now then, what do you reckon on that frothy stuff? What did you tell me to do? Get some your fan brush, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And just stick a few bits of white in. I'm a bit damp, a bit wet at the moment, but yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I like that. Cup needs cleaning, Carol. Dirty cut. I'm going to have a chat with Mel when I go down in a minute. No. Tired of living. Oh, I can blend the bits of white in when it dries. Give it some real nice. Give it some, yeah, well, sort of. Yeah, what's that in that coffee? Yeah, dear, I love it. Yeah. No. I'm looking forward to what you guys do. I reckon. But I think I was hoping it would be more relaxing than some of the recent ones. But there's no pressure on any of them. But the exercise is all about trying to find some nice shapes, really. some nice, what's the word? Shadows, some nice textures. That's what attracts me to it. I think I've got a few. I'd like to see what Gordon does to this because he's more meticulous than me. If you're watching this, Gordon, your homework, part of the caravan, and get some brushes out. Once you get the rigger involved, it's a question of picking up some shadows and dropping them in, isn't it?
Yeah, okay, that's lovely. Yeah, okay. Right, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to go now. Okay, I'll see you next week.
All right, Carol.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay, yeah, bye.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Ooh, once I start, I've got to keep going. I've got Sainsbury's coming today. Had
Yeah.
Waitrose yesterday.
Mhm.
That's how posh people live like. It used to be. I don't think it is so much now. Guess who's sticking it? I'm sticking my arm in all my paint. Well, if you practice enough, which is why I keep saying, learn to paint with your arm, not your fingers. It'll start off wonky, but after a while, you'll get much better at it. He says, making a mess. But no, I think it's a good idea. That's why you need one of those stick things. What they do is, can't remember what they call, a fuel in it or something. You put it down on the board, and then you can get across. I'm just using a ruler, but which isn't quite as good. Christine said she used to be fascinated with her dad doing it. She used to painting beautiful fairground murals for his stall and that. And he used to use a bit of, she's talking to her the other day and she said, what are they called, those things that you use to do that? And I looked it up on Google quick and I came back and said, oh, it's a thingy fuel or whatever it was. She said, oh, I don't think he ever called it that. I said, no, he's like me, he would have called it that stick thing that he used. I think, oops, a bit too much there. The dolly bird, the bit of fun. And you can put your name in. Mine says Dave at the moment, but I'll probably change it, tighten it up later, because everything's really wet here. It's that sort of, but once you get the small rigger attached to your hand, it becomes glued there anyway. And you can just sort of start pondering around, looking for dark areas to put highlights. I call them highlights, but they're not. They're dark areas that add the final. Later on, I'll put a bit of white around the rim of that bit there. Turn it upside down and add some white in. It's a bit damp at the moment, so I'm just sticking with the dark, sort of shadowy bits. Kind of works using a ruler though. You're just going to have to I was going to say, almost feels so it's almost, it almost feels childish.
Mm.
I know it's serious, but let's put a little bit of white here. Could just lift it off. Lift the paint off. I'll save that for later. Just add a bit of water and blend. Ooh, watch it. Bit blue there. And just try and soften it down a bit. Not so easy on this paper, but it'll come. When it's tomorrow, when it's dry, you can just sort of use the brush and blend it quite nicely. Soften it down so you get those, a bit like you do with pastels. You can just sort of add a bit of softness to it. You can soften it. Instead of using your finger, you can use the brush and just slightly blend it all in. I've just been adding some little bits of white to the foreground as well. I don't like the background much. I think I'm struggling with the background, Carol. I think it needs to be much darker. What do you think?
Yeah, I think maybe it should be.
To push it, to bring, it's just why these things are such fun, really. That got a bit of time, haven't we? A big brush and got some, I think that's burnt umber in there. Well, yeah, burnt umber. Shy, mix a load of it up, put a bit of blue in. That'll make it go really dark. Darker. Could go mad and add a bit of green for a laugh. That's sap green. Oh, what the heck? That was a mistake. A bit more burnt sienna there, and I really thought I was going to be getting. What I'll do is make it damp again. See what happens. Bit of mop it. Oh, blimey. Whoa. There was more water coming out of that. I'm really trying to demonstrate the difference by making the background much darker. So hence the reason I'm throwing caution to the wind, and so that when you come to do with yours, you say, oh, I wouldn't do that if I was you. just to see if it does pull it out. But there's a nice blend of colours in there. I'm not going to touch that egg, because if I do, it'll make it, sometimes it'll make it worse rather than better. Better. Use proper English, David. Yeah, sorry, Mum. Sorry, Mother. Right-handed again. That. Oh, God, I'm getting so confident in my right hand. Yeah. Shame it's not watercolour paper, because that, just doing these couple of little washes, it would sort of blend in and make a nice graduated tone. But with this paper, it doesn't seem to want to do that. Hence the reason I keep using dollops of white. Hang on. Put a bit in there this time. Same, we've got some anyway. Seems to like a bit of blue, doesn't it? Tighten it up later. Wait till it's turned upside down, and then you can have a laugh. I mean, that's the right way. See the difference it makes.
Yeah.
Is it good or bad though? This is the issue, isn't it? You've got to take away the fact that it's it's a bit damp. You need to come on, Dave, stop messing about. Well, I'm just wondering if I could get a nice even line across there. As I say, as you can probably tell, I don't get too panicky anymore about perfection at this stage, because I can tighten it up and tidy up all the daft edges and straight lines across them. Didn't mean to do that, later. It's a bit of card here. Let's put that piece of card in, see how far out I am. Just dab it on. Well, at least this paper's coming useful for something. Once you makes a big difference when you do that. Once you get an even line rather than an unbalanced one. And now taking the tip off we cut, so I can lift that off. Oh, that's better. The egg. Whether that's background will stay that colour, goodness knows. It's one of those things that I can't just decide straight away. It has to be a sort of, we'll have a look at that later. And then at some point you can either do it like I'm doing it by adding a tinge of a little bit of white. Just look for some highlights. I'm doing it quickly with I have to do it with a rigger, and just look for any bright areas and dab a little. Just add some white to it. Or alternatively, you can lift it off with clean water and a brush. I seem to have made my bed on a different course on this particular picture. And to lift that off, it would take about 3 hours. So many layers of paint on it. Now, this is a clean brush, Dave. Yes, it is. Paint what you see. That's the problem. Oh, it's what I see. Yeah. Yeah, but what to sell these really? When you start putting the main round, then you can look back and say, I need to change this, I need to change that. I need to tighten that up. Quite like the black background now. It's grown on me, that. So I can sense, Carol, you listening? I can sense putting masking fluid on here, masking my subject out, and then putting a really nice um, even more of a dark, you know, adding a bit more to that. I think that will look really nice. Carol's not here, she's gone, Dave. But when she watches the video, she'll be going, oh yeah, here we go. I like that. I think it's not complicated at the moment. I'll probably make it after doing those portraits and that. I think it's one of these pictures we can dither and fiddle around with for quite some time. Like where it's observational art as well. Little things like where the handle meets the cup, there's going to be a shadow. There's going to be some sort of, I've accentuated it on there just so it really does show up, but it will be there. So it needs to be, and same here. So when you think you've finished, you haven't. You're going to have to go and find more, or add more rather. Find and add more shadows and more highlights, and then out of all that, your picture will suddenly grab some sparkle. But one thing I can say without any, well, you can contradict me if you like, but without any, I've been looking at the male galleries and some of the art on there. Oh, right, since lockdown started, they've been doing it all online. And some of the quality of our images that we're doing is up there, if not better than a heck of a lot of what stuff they're saying is brilliant. So that's your confidence booster for today.
Good to know.
It is, and I wouldn't say that just because I need to know for my own benefit as well as yours that I'm not wasting my flipping time, because there is that always niggle in there that you think, oh, and you're not. The only way you can do it is to compare with what your peers are doing, and I can assure you it ain't bad. No, it's brilliant. What we're doing is up there.
It's been great that we've been able to do it.
Yeah.
Well, quite frankly, just this last week, I was thinking that I'm really grateful for Tuesday morning, and because it forces me to do something, takes me out of my comfort zone for a start, because I can't remember the last time I did anything like this. It's not looking half bad. And I've been teaching myself to do portraits as well. What I was saying about what's her name?
That's good.
Washed it out. It's the wrong colour at the moment, so it's going to. But you can see what I've done. I'm trying to get, like I was saying to Carol yesterday, I've been trying to work out a system where I can get to a certain stage in a portrait where I can, or we, because can feel confident that we can go whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. And my castle, what I was saying earlier, I mean, I've had that way of doing the foliage is brilliant. I look at that side and I think I've got to do more onto that. What I was saying earlier was my castle. I've been looking at this picture. Oh, it's been on the side there for a week or so since we finished. Let's get that brush. And I noticed that the the castle bit up here, there is no foliage in here. It would be foliage there. It has to be. That tree suddenly stops in the middle of nowhere. Well, it wouldn't do that. So 2 weeks later, I'm still looking at the picture, spotting areas that are daft. I mean, that's just, it's really like a piece missing out of a jigsaw puzzle, isn't it? There you go. Not that. Just moved it over. But hence the reason. But if you noticed, what I did, I just took some of the green and blue of that colour that's on the side of the paper and dropped it in because it's local to the picture. It's been there since the word go. I did 2 of that one. As it happens, there was one on the other side as well.
Oh.
That was the one I did on the video and then ended up doing it again. Very good. I'm really chuffed with that. I like this. I don't care. It's starting to dry back now, and what we'll do is add some more information, tidy it up when it's dried back, because then I'll be able to blend the cup in a bit better.
Right.
And perhaps add some whites, and the same with this egg. But when it's soaking wet, it doesn't work. It needs to dry back, and then because the white that's in there acts like a powder puff. Why did I say powder puff? I'll tell you why I said powder puff.
Well, it's not something we say very often, Dave.
No, it's not one of. The reason I mentioned powder puff is because those foliage things where I was using this, and I thought about it, and I thought, well, what I've done is I've wrapped cotton wool inside paper and taped it down with masking tape. Well, why don't I use powder puffs? Mel had some. But you can get them in triangle shapes as well. I noticed on thing, but you can dab that in and that would do a much neater job, wouldn't it?
Is it spongy, that one?
Yeah. I just thought on my nan, because they're sponges, aren't they? You can get them rubber. Well, rubber's no good. I don't want rubber. But the powder puffs, like you used to have in the little thing, our nan used to use it a lot.
Right.
I think that's what started. So there isn't it. So powder puffs are us. Well, I was on Amazon earlier, going powder puff. Looking for powder puffs.
Something else we've got to buy now.
Did you find any?
I need to extend that using pastels on the foliage, because it works. It was really, really good at the foliage I deliberately did it on the left-hand side using the pastels and just scraping it and then activating it with a damp brush. And the other side using traditional sort of watercolour. And the one on the left-hand side with the pastels looks so much more sort of substantial. It looks really, you can almost, go and pick a leaf off it.
Right.
So I'm convinced that, and I only had a few different colours, but I've got boxes of pastels that I used to use with Stephen and that guy that wouldn't talk for a while. Remember him? Can't remember his name. He used to come, didn't he? He used to sit there
didn't move, scaring the pants off everybody. Well,
I
used
think
to use
that must have been before my time. I don't remember him.
No, I don't either.
Yeah, he used to come in. He had an accident or something, and he wouldn't speak. So they said there was some sort of neurological thing going on there, and he came for quite a while, I don't know, a year. And he used to come in. I don't think it was Stephen. He used to come in. I was trying to keep him away from Stephen because Stephen does have anger management issues at times. So, and he'd sit down and he'd say, "How's it going?" And he'd just go, "Yeah." This would go on for all the morning. So I thought, well, I don't know what to do. When I was helping this family, get him out, and I used to use pastels. And I used to sketch it out and show him the picture of the trees or whatever it was, and say, well, and you'd think, well, not much going to happen here. And he'd sit there. Then I'd go out in the kitchen, make a cup of coffee, and Tom would come back in the picture. Yeah, it was like, it was really weird. And I used to, tighten them up, finish it off at the end and that. And anyway, I didn't, eventually, he didn't come back. And then I spoke to George, and he said, oh, because he used to go to his sister who was caring for him, used to work at Waitrose, and George used to go to the same Waitrose and meet her on the checkout. And he asked how he was, because he was like, they were serious, like, and she's always fine now. What? There was all this panic, like he couldn't move his arm and that, and they were going to take his arm off and all the rest of it.
Oh, crikey.
And then I said to George about it, and he said, yeah, I spoke to his sister, and she said, oh, he's fine talking and everything now. So the fear of having his arm chopped off must have fixed it.
Made him speak.
But no, they'd done all loads of tests and said there's something wrong with the lobes, his frontal lobe doodahs, and once that happens, and blow me down. He never came back to say thank you. Well, in a way, I was grateful because I did most 9/10 of the picture anyway. So I taught myself to paint pastels or get better at it. But anyway, I've got a lot of really unison posh pastels with lots of different greens and colours. So I'm thinking we're going to expand that. But the only thing I wasn't so comfortable with was making those dabbers. It didn't feel. And then I thought cotton wool, and then I thought makeup girls. Well, it's got to be the way to go.
Yeah.
I think even some really soft makeup brushes would probably do. Well, obviously, you need one for each colour, don't you? Sort of
Yeah.
one for green. Well, I suppose as long as it's sort of one for greens, yellows, one for blues, one for browns, it'd be all right. I don't know. I'll let you. Well, I've got two things to report back on here. There's water soluble oils and powder puffs.
Yeah. I can see the shopping list expanding.
Yeah.
Hey-ho.
Well, I've never been one for standing still. You can't. It's a thing that develops over time, doesn't it? And it goes round in a circle as well, mind. So you go off at this, you go at a tangent, you think, and then like you end up going back to how you were doing it originally. You think, oh no, I'm not happy. But eventually, what happens? You amalgamate it all, and it sort of develop a style or a rhythm of your own. But the irony of it is, I mean, I'm baffling now, but waffling. But the irony of it is when you, at the time, you think you're not improving, nothing's sort of going forward. It's only till you look back at a picture or a painting that you did maybe 2, 4, 5 years ago, and you look at it to now and you think, oh, that's rubbish. You know, I wouldn't do that. Oh, why isn't it got, you look at it and think,
criticize it.
well, that's the beauty of it, isn't it? But if you don't try different things and develop, extend what you're doing, then it's sort of, you do reach a point where you're confident that this ain't going to happen, or that ain't, it's just a slow additive thing. If you try and, I'm petrified of using the oil paints. So I'm thinking, oh blimey, what am I let myself in for here?
Be interesting to see you paint with oil paints.
Well, it's water. I'm thinking, well, it's watercolors, isn't it? I'm thinking watercolors. But there's that woman whose paintings that I've been looking at. She puts them on one of the Facebook groups, and I'm thinking, oh dear, that's just stupid. And she's flogging them left, right, and centre. And I'm thinking, no, this is bad. They're like sort of blue sky with a bit of the different colour in it, and a foreground, and calling it, I don't know, coastal or shore or something, and think, oh no, this is daft. This is just just squishes a colour.
Perhaps we could sell some of ours then.
Well, in the
Don't answer that, Dave.
there is a lovely one, lady. I can't remember her name. I think I've got it on here. It's not the Mauritius. It was Glenda, something G. So I'm looking through FG. Can't remember her name. But she does beautiful watercolors of the. Well, I have an affinity with her because it's like the beach, the sky, and 2 figures on the beach. So.
All right.
So I'm looking at, I can't find it now. But I have got one to do. I might not have put it in there yet. I can't find it. But when you see it, you'll go, oh yeah, that's good. I think I've got that one for a couple of weeks' time. Well, that's going to be nice. But that's going to be all about skies.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about it a lot. I think we should try and perhaps do some just demonstrations on a particular subject rather than trying to do the whole thing. Just concentrate on skies, whatever. Maybe we should do that as well. Have a sort of a
session on skies,
or a session on open session almost. Say, right, I'm having trouble. How do you do this?
Yeah.
Only problem is that Carol won't mind me saying this. She wants all of it. Every time she does brilliant, wonderful pictures, and then says, I don't like it. Oh, I don't know how to do it. And I think, well, you just done it. I don't know what to do.
Having an artist brother, it makes her feel a bit, but like you say, she's capable of doing it. But
her painting of Audrey Hepburn reminded me of my Auntie Jean. So when I was thinking, there you go. Show. I looked at it and I thought, that brings up really lovely memories to me, that picture. I mean, okay, Audrey Hepburn, a bit older, probably like she is now, or would have been. I don't care. It's the execution of it is lovely.
Oh,
Wish I
that'd be
could-
nice. I think the eyes are great.
Yeah, there's so much going on there.
Yeah.
All the things that we watch, watercolor artists of the year or landscape painter of the year, all the things that those, don't watch what the artist is doing, that's irrelevant. Listen to what the teachers and the judges are saying,
Mhm.
because what they're seeing is what is important. They're seeing the connection between the artist and the subject,
Wow.
and the execute, and seeing, I can see where she's going there. I can see where she did that. Oh, that is so clever, you know. And that is what we've all got, but we don't see it. And when I look at some of the thing like that of Carol, then I think that's got so much going for it. I wish I could do that.
Mm.
Yeah, and same with our Joyce with her tree work. I wish I could see it like that.
Oh dear.
Dear.
Well, many thanks, Dev. I'm going to have to disappear.
Yeah, I'm going out to drop Mel to Grandad's.
All right.
Mm.
I think
Well,
we're gonna,
thank you. I'm looking forward to this one.
Yes, should be good.
So hopefully see you all next time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Take
I have
care,
to know.
Joyce.
Thank you. I mean, I've got to work out how to escape from this one. Because it's
Oh,
all
right.
different.
I'll
Anyway,
just press end and that'll do it.
all right. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Bye.
What's about that then? Right then. Back to the case in hand. Still all bits of cable everywhere. What have I done? I washed the whole image. I masked out the detail, so it's still got masking fluid on it, just to keep Carol happy. Let me zoom out a little bit. There you go. So this is all masking fluid now all over the whole object, and I washed it all off. So I wanted to, and I've actually masked the whole thing this time. Cost a fortune in fluid, and I think what my plan was to put a little bit of masking tape or board, one or the other, bit of card, if I can find a piece. Yeah, there's one. Nice piece of card. Put it across there. Will it work? Will it not? Give it a go. I want to make I just want to make a little more subtle background. Now then. So sticking with my palette, I just wanted it to be a bit more watery, but I've got some nice colours in here. Peach, sort of fleshy colours. Goodness knows. Mocha coffee sounds nice, doesn't it? So I'm going to use my mop. I'll probably be better with a bit of tape actually. So if I can get a straightish line, touch it gently there and there. I'm at a 30-degree angle, so clean water. Now I haven't got to worry about the image, so I can just, and it's 30 degrees, so it's all going to run down, and pick out one of these nice colours. Could even go yellow, but I'm not going to. That's that horrible red, which is asking for trouble. Just wanted it to be a nice, subtle, flowing colour. It's a peach. So this is a peach watercolor peach color, easy enough to mix up with a bit of lemon yellow, but I thought if I did it this way, I would get a nice even blend of color. I just thought it was a bit higgledy-piggledy. Keep going. A bit like a French farmhouse sort of kitchen. Got the mocha colour here as well. Wouldn't hurt to put a hint of that in. This is just a sort of a very light brown colour. A bit like decorating a flipping kitchen, this is. Just having fun with colour, which is, I did say right from the offset that that's what I wanted to do with this image. Maybe the mop's not the ideal brush. I could try with a flat brush. So if I get a nice gentle, that's just lifting it off, isn't it? So if I can get a tonal difference between the middle and the top. If you've got really nice watercolor paper, you'll get a nice graduated tone, which I haven't. This is on card, which is not doing it. So hence the reason I'm doing this. Try and get a blend going back. I want it to be darker at the bottom. Not hideously so, but subtly so. That'll do. Hope I'm pretty sure it'll sort itself out as it dries. The hard bit will be getting the tape off of the masking fluid, so that could be a bit precarious, and then putting it back on to do the other bottom half. Cappuccino. Yeah, I even like the stain marks underneath. Yeah. So I say this is going to have to take a while to dry, and then we'll come back and do some more on it. Start back to recording. This is another update. Let's take my gloves off. What we've done now is I washed it in the bath after masking everything out with a cup, you know, the main element, it's early in the morning, main elements. I've put some masking tape across here and redone the top part of the background in a sort of peachy colour. Don't know what to do the foreground bit with. Probably a lighter shade. Don't know. I'm confused about that at the moment. Anyway, my serious problem at the moment is getting the masking tape off. I think I've welded it to the paper with the paint. So hairdryer, try and warm it up. Seems to be working. Nearly there. Wow. That was fiddly squat, wasn't it? Seems to have seeped up underneath a bit. All tacky there. Dear, oh dear. I think I've pulled some of the masking fluid off of there, so I'll have to go back over that. And then when it's cooled down a bit, that bit's all right. It's a little bit of goo on there, which I think is masking fluid, which I can rub off in a minute when it gets cooler. Dear, oh dear. Let it go cold, and then decide on a nice colour for the bottom. Do it all over again. Totally mad. Right then. So I've tidied that up, put some more masking fluid on here. Now, comes the scary bit. I think I need a little bit more. Need some more tape to go across there. But this time, I'm going to take the edge off the tape. It's a bit too sticky. Just put it down the side there. Take a bit of this goo off it. I can feel it's really tacky. The masking tape, it's really. I'll find the line there. Find a line. Hopefully it's something like that. Gently push it down. And as I say, I've masked out all the objects. Next plan of action, I'll get my mop, some clean water, and soak the background. Carol, you're not here. I need someone to tell me what colour to use, but I'm going to start off with some white gouache because I want it to be, just squish it on. I was hoping to get it nice and sort of solid feel to it, opaqueness to it. The only way you can do that is by adding the white. Just paint it all. It won't go over the. Then think about a colour. So go up to the tape. I suppose we could leave it white, just out of interest. Let's have a look at the palette, see what I've got in this palette. I'm not using the red because that's too highly staining. I've got a grey, sort of a grey colour here. Let's try that for a minute. I think that's okay. Don't know what colour that is. Try it first. Sort of a dull. Oh, I know what colour. No, I don't. I haven't got a clue what colour that is. But I'm going to use it anyway. But putting the white on first gives you a nice solid background. I think I might have it in tube form, whatever that colour is. Dune, it's a, no, it's not. It's not sand. Oh gosh. whatever colour is, it's a sort of very light grey colour. But because I've put the white on, it gives me the opportunity to blend it for a while and get some sort of nice tone. All the time thinking, could shadows as well. Even though I've masked them out, I'm going to put a few extra dollops of paint where I think the shadows would be. Same there. It's quite a nice colour, isn't it? Sort of it's white but not white. Grey but not grey. Going to leave that. Let it. Or shall I add more colour? Decisions. I think the contrast between that and that would be good. Just pretend it was on a clear laminate table. Lovely paints, these St. Petersburg paints. Almost getting a nice. Christine will be loving this. She can knock this out in acrylics quite easily. Bits of masking fluid are turning up here. And hair. There's a hair there. Go away. Horrible thing. Right, we're going to leave that to settle down. Once that's dried off, we can rub the masking fluid off and then attack the objects. I have to dry this one off just for a bit of speed, really. It's the colour I've put on there is called Dune. Dune. Right, bit of hairdryer. There was one little bit in there. Gotcha. The next stage is going to be rubbing it all off. Oh gosh, it's got a hair there. Come off. We'll pay extra for that. Let it finally give it a good dry, and then we'll rub the dreaded masking fluid off, and then we'll tidy up the subjects. But not until we've had a cup of tea. Right, I think everything's dried off quite well now. And I've scrubbed it. There's a few little bits around there to tidy up. I think what I'll start with is mix up a nice colour for the going back onto this mug. Actually, I still feel some Masking fluid there, on there. You can see it. Actually. Use a rubber to sort of rub it off. Just see little yellow bits. Not sure if that's not fluid on there. Things I do for my art. I've got no fingernails left. No fingerprints on my arm, on my hand. I think I'd like to mix up a nice colour for the cup, which involves a bit of this permanent rose. There's a little remainder of a little blob of white in the bottom of there, which is making it go a little bit pinky, which is fine. If you want it to go redder, you can always add a little bit of burnt sienna. Changes it to a warmer colour. Got any particular thought in mind? I'm just gonna go. It needs to be a bit brighter. Find out in a sec. Definitely brighter. Using a big brush here as well. For the big area. This nice soft brush for patching it in a bit. And the sides. You might need to sit down for this. So try and pick up some colour might be here. Now I'm going to have to turn the board around. I'm left-handed and I need to get a little bit more closer. I think that's masking fluid there. Oh no. Oh yes. Hand of a surgeon. Is that bigger brush gone? I need you. Just to flow it back. It's dried really quick, that paint. Wow. Just try and get my edges as nice as possible, really. If I start just try and make it go cup shaped. Good exercise in brush technique, that's for sure. That went a bit too far, didn't it? That definitely, cool. Oh well. Lift that out later. All the best laid plans go AWOL. So I can pick up a bit more of that colour. Should have mixed up a whole load more of it, really. Oh, cobblers. What's wrong with me this morning? It's the beauty of having the incorporating the white in the paint is as it dries, you can just sort of smooth it now, get a nice smooth finish. Blend it in. It's better than it was, apart from one or two little spots. But we'll blend it back when it's dried off a bit. Still doing it there. Let's go up to the lip. Might have to go over this again. Just give it a little bit of a lift. See what it's like when it dries off. Might have to turn it around this way. Got a little piece there that I'll have to tidy up later. Could be let's do a rigger job. It's not too bad. Let's let that dry off. Oops. I like the colour. Right, a little bit extra. I think I'm just going to have a play with some white for now. Try and tighten up a few areas. Well, it's white paint, but my water's pink. Let's start. Start at the top and work my way. As I said right from the start on this exercise, it's going to be a good, well, a good exercise for playing, you know, brush control and all that sort of thing, and which is always the try and give it long. It's a bit like once you start, keep going, you'll get a nicer finish. Probably have to go over it a few times because white, well, permanent white, but it's not as white as white. What's that? It's not like washing machine white. So I've got a pinky white now because oh my gosh, I can't get away with that, can I? Maybe I'll pretend the egg is getting reflections from the cup. Try and give it a nice eggy shape with your brush strokes. You might, like me, you might find you need to keep turning the board around to so you can get to certain areas. A bit more. Yeah. Ugh. So I just want to go to the edge of that lip. Lift off. Good brush technique, Dave. Yeah. No, try and get the egg. But being white, when it dries, a bit too strong there. Like I said, we can use our damp brush just to tissue, feather it, and just give it a gentle nudge. It's a bit more there. Try and get my brush strokes going. Circular motion. Then when it dries, we can just, yeah, I've definitely got a pinky, because my water's pink from the cup. So what I'm going to do is just tissue this area of the palette, change the water, a little bit of cleaner water. Luckily I've got two pots and one is clean, or clearer. I have to get better glasses, get more focus. I want it really tight on there. Still got bits of pink in the coming through the in the white. Right there. Move it around again. a little bit of a pencil mark. Just a smidgen down there, I think. So I'll probably have to, well, I'm not probably, I'm going to have to go over the other egg because it's got pinky water. Definitely, oh my goodness me. Look how pink that egg is. Don't believe it. It's unreal. Can't leave it like that. Just goes to show how white your white is. Phenomenal. So when that's dried back, I'll be able to use a damp, clean brush and clean water. And we should be able to smooth these out really nicely. Good practice for brush technique. Yeah. Until you miss a bit and go over. Amazing. Just nearly went into pink water. Just want a very light wash of white over the inside of the cup. Brighten it up. So I might have to go over the rims a few times. But it will dry semi-transparent to leave some of that tint from the back behind. Not funny paint. Quite interesting painting upside down. Well, let that dry. Maybe I have to do a couple more layers. What I did want to do was increase the tone of the sort of shadow area down here. So anyway, I'm going to do that. Start with the one in the middle, clean water, and just let it blend. I've got a little bit of that sand colour mixed in with a little bit of burnt umber. I'm just going to let it drizzle down, do its worst. Just need a little bit more of it there as well. Do the opposite technique. Put a dark colour in and then clean water and let it just drizzle. Let the clean water draw it down. It's doing it there. It's fine. Don't matter if it goes a little bit. Just pretend they're shadows. And I've got a little bit of cerulean blue, if I can find it. Yep. Check on the edge. Ooh, it's a bit dull. 2 secs. A little bit of cerulean blue. And just let it just drop a little bit into the dark. Especially there. Very light blue. Just think it adds a little bit of fun to the reflection. Bit too strong there. Not enough there. Doing a grand job. I'm almost, not almost there, but just wanted a cleaner image. Bit of a blob there. So I'll probably have to go over it a couple more times. But you get the drift of what I'm up to. Still need more. I think I need more. Just drop it in while it's wet and let it run. It's just a dark bit of burnt umber. That one's running like Billy do there. I'm going to let it go and see what it, just let it develop itself. Can lift a bit off. Just a clean brush, dry brush. Pink egg. Huh. Bit of fun, isn't it? Well, just tidy it up. A few flecks. I'm not worried about that egg because I'm going to put a little bit of extra work into that later. This egg's still a bit pink, so it needs more white. A couple of coats. Just got to let it dry and then come back and do some more. But it's just a little bit of an add-on. Let's just move it down a bit. Move it flat. Zoom in a bit. Ta-da! Almost. A few bits of steam maybe later. There's sort of a part 2. Probably be doing this for another week, you know. Anyway, have fun yourselves. Different.